The man arrived in the frozen Arctic, and every morning his first priority was to shovel away the snow. He would not stop until the dark soil beneath was exposed. Even a small white stone was not allowed to be left behind. He did this simply to make the black stand out more clearly in this vast white landscape because it was a giant SOS distress signal. He had been trapped in the Arctic for 3 years. Every day, the man repeated only 3 tasks. The second was checking his traps to see what he had caught. Since there was no bait, it was common to come back empty-handed. But one day, the trap nearby suddenly made a violent shaking sound. He rushed over and slowly lifted the line. It turned out a salmon unique to the Arctic had been caught. There was no joy on his face. He had been eating this kind of food for 3 years already. After replenishing his strength, the alarm clock beside him rang. He picked up a signal transmitter, climbed to the highest point nearby, and kept shaking the device to send signals to the outside world, but he never received any response. At this moment, the Arctic was in a polar day period, so the man could only rely on the alarm clock to remind himself of time. When it rang, he would return to sleep. On his way back, he did not forget to visit his companion, the only thing that gave him warmth. Day after day, the man repeated the same routine on time. The next day, when he went onto the ice to collect food, he found fish remains scattered nearby. He already had a rough idea of what had happened. After scanning the surroundings to confirm it was safe, he hurried back to the crashed airplane wreckage and quickly locked the door. The enclosed space gave him a strong sense of safety, and he was relieved that the polar bear had left the area. After resting for a while, the man still had to risk going to the mountaintop. While shaking the equipment to send signals, he closely monitored everything around him, because any mistake could turn him into prey for the polar bear. However, there was still no response today. Just as he was about to return, the indicator light suddenly changed from red to green, meaning someone nearby had received his distress signal. He immediately continued operating the generator. As the green light kept flashing, a helicopter suddenly appeared in the distant sky. With hope right in front of him, he quickly pulled out a flare stick, lit it, and waved it desperately while shouting. Looking at the helicopter so close, the man was convinced he was finally going to be rescued. But unexpectedly, just as the helicopter was about to land, a sudden gust of wind struck. The man stood frozen, completely helpless. Tears of despair welled up in his eyes as he fell back into despair. After regaining control of his emotions, he quickly ran toward the helicopter. But when he dragged the pilot out, he realized the person had already stopped breathing.